Welcome, everybody, to the first ever
Here We Go travel show.
Yeah, all right, not bad, huh?
So what is the Here We Go travel show?
Well,
what are we doing?
This is a show where we talk about all things travel, including travel tips, our recommendations, real-life stories to help independent travelers like you travel better, is the gist of it.
Okay.
Would you say?
Yeah, I love it. So we're basically combining all of our travel experiences, our knowledge, everything, and putting it into kind of a little separate show.
Yeah. So,
Great.
we'll still have all our YouTube videos traveling to places around the world. And here in Denver, Colorado, we are based in Denver, Colorado. But obviously the whole world is open to this. But before we dive in, we owe a debt of gratitude.
Huge thanks.
Yes. To an old friend and true professional in the biz, our old pal, Beth, over here. So thank you for humoring us and, of course, enabling us to get to this point in the journey. I think we all owe her a big round of applause.
Yes, thank you, Beth. We're in her facility.
Thank you. Oh, my God, look at this place. It's
great. It's way above our status.
A little bit better than the basements and dungeons we found ourselves in over the years. Anyways, thank you for that, Beth. You're the best. But let's just give you a little overview of the overall show. You want to talk about these points that we have, these kind of segments that are coming up?
Yeah, so each show we're going to probably try to, get between 3 and 5 different segments. Each segment's going to be, depends on what we're doing, but we have set criteria on each thing that we're going to do. So, our first segment today, it's going to be a travel product review.
Mm-hmm.
All
That's
right.
Yeah.
So
spotlight.
A little spotlight. Travel spotlight, I think, is what we're going to call it. Just anything travel based that we want to point out, talk about, anything like that. So,
and today's spotlight is on the Frontier Go Wild Pass, which Chad will be
we'll
filling us in about that. Our second segment will be a day tripping segment. About visiting the Grand Canyon when you are in Las Vegas.
Right. So the day trip section for now and in the future is basically like if you're in Vegas and you're traveling to Vegas and maybe you want to do something outside of Vegas, what are good day trips outside of your trip? So it's like a trip within a trip. Whether it's Vegas or you're in London and you want to go outside of London, you go to Stonehenge or something. So what is a day trip outside of where your basically your main stay, your main trip is at that point?
That's right. And then we're going to go international with the third segment. And we're off to Guatemala City, where Chad will take us on some of his adventures and admittedly my attempt to go along when I can't really do that.
He likes to live vicariously through me sometimes. He doesn't get to travel quite as much as me. Almost.
Thanks for being there for me.
But so that'll include, it could go both ways, but this time, it'll include my experiences in Guatemala, and then also what, Kevin's the planner, so he'll give me things to do, places to go, things like that. So that way he can still kind of be there with me while we're doing it.
Gotta keep you cultured and fed.
Yes,
right,
for sure.
Don't worry about this guy. Anyways, last segment we will dive into a trip tease.
Trip tease.
That's right, you heard that right. A trip tease. Big news coming up for Here We Go. Stay tuned till the end to find out where we're going next. And as we ask you in every episode, are you ready? Because here we go. Okay, segment 1. Thank you very much. We are going to do our product spotlight with Chad.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Let me get that in there. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about Frontier Airlines exclusive Go Wild Pass. Chad, you got the Go Wild Pass for the first time this last year. What is that?
Okay. Well, first off, like you mentioned in the intro as well, we are based in Denver here, and Frontier Airlines is also based in Denver. So gives us a lot of options. They have more flights, obviously, out of Frontier. They have some other hubs, but gives us a lot of options direct from Denver. What the Frontier Go Wild Pass is, it's basically you pay a certain amount, depends on what kind of sales they have or whatever, and you get unlimited flights.
I think they call it all you can fly.
All you can fly. Now you do have to pay taxes and fees.
Okay.
That varies based on where you're going, time of year, all kinds of
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah, different airports
Right.
have different taxes depending on where you're going.
Correct. And they actually have a few Go Wild passes. Like so, the one I got was a year long Go Wild pass.
How much you put down for that?
I believe it was $3.99.
Okay. For a whole year.
For an entire year. So you put $3.99 down, and then after that, any flight you take is you just pay the tax and fees. They also have a summer one that's like 3 months, a fall, a winter. So they have other options with that are a little bit cheaper. Obviously, it's not the full year. So yeah, that's essentially what it is.
That sounds very innovative on the part of Frontier. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Anybody else doing that? But
not recently.
Where all did you go in your travels?
So it goes from May 1st to April 30th.
Oh, right, it's still live.
So I'm only about 8 months into it. So I still have about 4 months left, which is great. But I feel like I've already gotten my money's worth. I did a trip to Guatemala. So yeah, Frontier goes to Guatemala. I did Costa Rica. I've done Mexico and Cancun twice.
A lot of Latin America.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's the extent of the international. But Frontier also, they do some other Caribbean stuff, other parts of Mexico, and that's actually where I think you get the best bang for your buck is the international. As well, one thing I'll mention with how the pass works, when you do fly international, this is kind of one of the whatever's to it. When you fly international, you get to purchase it 10 days in advance.
Okay. All right.
When it's domestic, you can only do it 1 day in advance.
Key detail.
That's the key. So sometimes it is a gamble. If you, especially on those domestic flights,
well, because
they might not be available.
They can sell out.
They could sell out. It might not be available. So it's always a risk if you're doing it. So
how many of the? Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so it's definitely you don't want to do it with set plans that you have to be somewhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely harder if you have a family and you need 4 people on a flight, that sort of thing. So it's definitely more the spontaneous type of traveler.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But domestically, I still used it quite a bit. I went to Raleigh. I went to Myrtle Beach. Went and visited family twice in Houston. Flew back from Philadelphia on it.
Okay, so you're kind of like mixing and matching trips. Like maybe you would take a flight on a different airline and then come back.
Actually, that was actually one of the times I did that into Mexico. Actually, I only used it one time on the second trip to Mexico. I flew United down there. My United flight was canceled back, and they couldn't get me on a new flight for a couple days. Day of, I bought a $81 flight on Frontier and flew back direct to Denver.
So it's like a nice backup plan.
So it was kind of a backup in that case. So
nice. Did you ever get burned using the Go Wild Pass? Like you were eyeing a trip and you were like, okay, I got to wait till the day before. I'm just trying to think this through in my head, and then you got to that day before, and then bam, like nothing was available.
Yes. So actually, I went to Houston a third time as well.
Okay.
I only used it on the third time. I only used it on the way back. On the way there, so this is another little whatever. They do have blackout dates.
Oh.
So always, if you're planning on doing something in a couple of weeks or whatever, check the blackout dates. I forgot to check the blackout date.
Okay.
So I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and I got to the 24 hours before, and it was like $200. It was not. It was not $16, which I was planning, and then I went and looked at the blackout dates, and it was like,
yeah. So like probably like holiday time.
Yes,
like
mostly
Memorial Day
holiday, mostly holidays, and then there's a few other random ones. But you always got to check that. So that time I did get burned. I think I ended up getting one day of or day before on Frontier. So I mean on United. So it worked out, but I definitely spent a little bit more than I wanted.
Okay. Well, I know you touched on this earlier, but overall, it sounds like you're saying that it's pretty worth it for the kind of travel that you're doing, right?
Yeah. So I spent $399 regularly. I believe it's $599. And if you have it for the year and you have them automatically renew, it renews at $699. That's when it starts. So you really got to start getting your money's worth. So if I had to renew it at either $499 or $599, I've been hesitant on whether I want to do it, just because timing and like I said, there's a lot of whatevers. Also with Frontier, you can only bring a backpack.
Yeah.
Remember that as well. So. If you're trying to
unless
go
you want to
different,
pay for
right, yeah, you can pay extra for that, but then that just adds to your costs. Right now, though, for next year, starting May 1st, I don't know how long it's going to last, but Frontier does actually have a special, and it's $299 for the year.
Wow.
So it's a one-time fee. Again, it might last a day it might last to the end of the year, it might last a couple months.
Yeah.
They did it last year as well, and I missed on the $299, and then I got it later.
Right, you said $399.
Yeah.
Wow, that would be.
So that one I am now reconsidering. Now that I've just recently seen that, I think I might reconsider and do it. Yeah, that's $300. You go on
hard to pass
4 or 5 trips. You've basically at least made your money back. Throughout all my trips, I figured conservatively, I'd probably save around $1,200, $1,300.
Wow.
After the $399 that I spent to get it. So,
good to know.
Yeah, definitely worth it. So,
thanks for that insight. That's very helpful. Hope you found that one helpful as well. Check out the the Frontier Go Wild Pass.
Yeah, we'll also have a link to it down below.
Yeah, we are not sponsored.
No,
but open to them.
All right, on to our next segment. This segment is our day tripping segment, and this one is going to feature Kevin and a day trip that he did. You recently went to Las Vegas, correct?
Correct.
And you had a day trip from Las Vegas. Tell us where that was. What's that all about?
So great trip. Highly recommend this trip. I think it is fantastic for just about anybody going to Vegas, to be honest, because you know what it's like when you go to Vegas, you get into the strip,
right?
You're on the casinos.
Yeah,
I mean, like, that's what you go there for, right? You go for like the entertainment capital of the world. But if you find yourself kind of needing a break from all the noise and excitement of Las Vegas, Grand Canyon West actually offers a very doable day trip for anybody really to get out of Vegas, see legitimate Grand Canyon. Like, most people when they think Grand Canyon, they think the South Rim.
Okay.
I think that's where a lot of the typical tourist pictures come from, or the North Rim,
right?
Which is less traveled to, but also just as nice as the South Rim. But the thing about the North Rim and the South Rim from Vegas, those are 4-hour drives, right? So
okay, yeah, I was going to say that. I felt like the Grand Canyon's pretty far.
Yeah, if you look on the map and you plan out a little road trip, that's going to cost you 8 hours in the car, and
that's a tough day trip.
Yeah, it's not. I would not recommend doing that. Don't do that to yourselves unless you absolutely have to. It's a bucket list thing. But honestly, Grand Canyon West, you're still going to the Grand Canyon. It's legitimate Grand Canyon. Check out these pictures. I mean, like, you get there and it's like the most amazing natural stuff that you can see in the world, right?
Right.
And the way this works is that when you drive there, it's just an over 2-hour drive.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's good.
And so very manageable. You can do that in a day. You go by Hoover Dam, which
another little
you could add
stopping
tack
point
that
if
on,
you wanted to
right?
check that out. Yeah.
Reenact when fools rush in. For example, like
throw the coin over the Hoover Dam. It's good
Right.
luck right when you're crossing the state line.
Selma, Matthew.
Mhm.
It's just you can totally get that in. But once you get on your way, you're cruising, and in over 2 hours, you get to Grand Canyon West, which is managed by the Wallapai Indian tribe.
Oh,
And
okay.
so you're actually going onto the reservation of the Wallapai, and they basically have full control over this area. So that's one thing to consider. You do pay a much higher cost compared to South Rim or North Rim,
okay,
right? Because those are national park areas.
Right.
This is actually on the Wallapai
On the
reservation.
Part of the reservation. Okay.
And you got to expect that going in, right? Like you're going to pay $50 to get in, right? Just to get in. And they have
$50 per car,
$50 per person.
per person.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. And the prices are maybe there's some different levels of tickets, right? This part of the Grand Canyon is famous for the skywalk. You ever heard of the skywalk?
Yeah, it goes kind of way out over.
Oh, yeah.
You can
Glass floors and stuff
you
like
can
that.
look down.
And you can get that included in your ticket for an extra price.
How long is that ticket good for?
It's good for all day.
Just 24.
I'm pretty sure
that one day.
I'd have to check on that, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure you get in and you can be on their part of the Grand Canyon all day.
Okay.
We didn't do the skywalk
thing.
mostly because it was
Probably extra.
quite a bit extra. And then when you get out there, you can't even bring your own cameras and stuff like that. They have their
so you have to
own
buy
stuff.
the pictures.
So, yeah, like me as a photographer,
standard touristy. Yes.
yeah, and like I'll show you the pictures right here. We were able to do all of our own, typical tourist shots, hanging over the edge and looking down and all that stuff. And you can do that without getting the skywalk. But honestly, the skywalk looked pretty cool when we got in there. Like I was a little jealous of like the people who had like gotten that in there. Some other things that they have there, they have their own like food vendors and stuff like that. And like we got like they take you on this little shuttle to like different points on the canyon rim, and you can wait in line at one of their food stalls and stuff like that. We didn't do that because it was like the line was super long, and I don't know if how the food is or anything like that. I'm sure it's fine, but what I really liked was the Hualapai Ranch restaurant, which is actually just outside.
Ranch restaurant.
Hualapai Ranch restaurant, which is just outside of like the Grand Canyon West sign and like area. I think it's all still connected, but you don't have to wait in the line of like the actual
kind of separate.
Yeah, and so it's like this like old like West setup, like where they have like all wooden buildings and like the place where you like not saddle up your horse, you tie up your horse and all that. And we get there and I'm like, whoa, this is kind of neat. You can kind of see the Grand Canyon in the background. And you get in there and they have like, authentic Native American food, right? Like Indian tacos and like some like pinion nut stew that was like really good. And I was like kind of like low key blown away, like this kind of dusty little outpost in the middle of nowhere.
Good options.
That's some really good food. Affordable, delicious, great for the whole family. It did, I will say, when we got there, it seemed like it was closed. And I joke you not, my daughter was like the one to like actually peek her head, and we were like, oh, let's go to the next place. We'll get some Subway at the gas station or something like that.
Yeah, you make her go.
I think they had just forgotten to like flip the open close sign out. And so she watched it and it was like, oh yeah, there's cooks, staff, everything. We're like, okay, let's go. So that was a good experience. I will say another place that you can stop by, either going there or coming back, like Hoover Dam, is the Arizona Joshua Tree Forest. which is maybe about 30 minutes from the Grand Canyon West entrance.
Okay.
And it's like, like Joshua.
I've been to Joshua Tree, California.
So yeah, I mean, that's like, if you really love Joshua Tree, you go do that, right? And you do the YouTube album cover and all that stuff. But here, it's like legit, like it feels like another planet kind of stuff, right? Like those Joshua trees are some of the most
they're
interesting kind of surreal plants you've ever seen. And that's like just, on the side of the road on the way to the Grand Canyon. And we stopped there, maybe 15, 20 minutes, got great like photo opportunities. Like I said, I'm big into photography, got some good, cool black and white shots, but then like, standing with the family and stuff like that. So that's just another reason why I think this day trip kind of has like all the nice like compliments to what a Las Vegas typical trip would be.
Well, and you said you went with your family. You mentioned your daughter, so I think that sounds like a great option as well, especially when you're in Vegas. Good family thing to get. You're getting away from the strip and
wholesome it up
some other options and whatever.
Oh, yeah, she still talks about it to this day.
Really? Okay. So sounds like I'm going to have to do that. I have been to the other parts of the Grand Canyon, but never from Vegas, never to the to that side. But
you know how majestic it could be, and Grand Canyon West offers that same level of majestic, just that much more accessible. Excuse me, that much more accessible to Las Vegas.
Yeah, sounds like a perfect day trip.
You bet. Okay, next segment brings us to Tag Team Travel. And this time, we're
Tag Team Travel.
Yeah.
What is Tag Team Travel?
So like those times when like you're in some fantastic new location, and I kind of just bust in onto your trip and be like, "What are you doing, Chad? Like, you got any food places checked out? Like, what are you gonna see and all that?" Like,
and usually I don't.
Right. And I know that.
But yes.
And that's why I do that, right? Because I want to make sure that you are taken care of in the sense of like food,
really,
culture, totally soak up a new place. And this time we're talking about a place called Guatemala City, La Ciudad de Guatemala. I like to live vicariously through Chad. He gets to go to a lot of cool places that I don't get to, and I get jealous, and I admit it. Like, I just want to be a part of the trip.
It makes sense. I understand.
And you've been
plus it works for this.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? Like, we've done this a couple of times now, but I think Guatemala City is the good example of kind of like the farthest we've taken it, right? Like,
you made me work.
I did, right? So this time I gave Chad a challenge to actually find out what is the national bird of Guatemala. Do you know what it is? You know what it is.
I mean, I know what it is now.
Now you do, right? And I made him go to a museum, like their national museum, right in the El Centro of Guatemala City, and he had to do a little task. Check out this video.
I'm sending you to the Palacio Nacional de Cultura, the National Palace of Culture, and it is your challenge to find a quetzal bird, which is the national bird of Guatemala.
Oh. Okay.
And you need to ask somebody somewhere in the museum to record you saying this tongue twister. You ready for the tongue twister?
Okay, all right.
All right, so you know the word, the phrase quetzal.
Quetzal, like what's up?
And then quetzal. Quetzal, quetzal. You gotta say it 3 times.
Quetzal, quetzal.
There you go.
Quetzal, quetzal. Quetzal, quetzal.
Yeah, there you go. And as soon as you send me that, you'll get your lunch recommendation, a top recommendation.
Okay, all right. I guess I have my mission. Here we go. Here we go.
Here you go.
¿Puedes grabar un video?
Sí.
Por favor. Allí. Con Quetzal.
¿Listo? ¿Listas? ¿Qué tal? Quetzal. ¿Qué tal? Quetzal. ¿Qué tal? Quetzal.
You went up to a guard
Well,
in
yeah.
the museum
So,
and asked him
you're in this video here, you're making me find the quetzal, which is what the national bird is.
Fun fact.
I had to find it in there. I found it, and then your task was to make me do a idiot thing.
Well, it's a tongue twister.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's in
obviously,
Espanol.
quetzal and quetzal, they're very similar. Quetzal, 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 as you'll see here.
Listen how fluent you sound,
Right? It's like I'm a local.
Oh my god, I can't believe you did it.
But I had to find somebody. I had to find the bird first of all, and then I had to find a local to film me,
AKA prove it.
and that's who ended up filming me. He spoke no English, so it was a little rough at first. Me trying to get it across in Spanish what I'm trying to do, and he's just looking at me like, "What is this idiot doing?" But we got it. We got it.
We did.
And because of that, I got a reward.
Right. Because you proved it, you got a reward. I gave you my highest recommendations on food, which is nearby in a food, and like, I think it's like, the Mercado Central.
Mercado Central.
There we go. The Mercado Central, which has great local food. I can't say it's great. You tell me.
It was fantastic. And I mean, the whole Mercado Central area, I mean, it's got more than food. I mean, it's got shops, food. I mean, it's huge. It's multiple levels. It took me, just to try to find the place, it took me a while because there's so many levels and like half staircases, and it's like it's a maze in there. Cool. And again, trying to ask people, I was like, where is this? And
right.
But eventually I found it. That was fantastic. I walked around enough. I actually ended up going to another place as well. So I got a couple of meals down there, some drinks, walked around all the shopping areas.
That food looked really good.
It was fantastic and cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, Guatemala's fantastically cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, great food. People are so nice there too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see that.
I feel like Guatemala's kind of gotten a bad rep. Just as far as safety and things like that.
You felt okay there?
Yeah. Now there are definitely certain regions that no go.
Colonia, I forget which number.
There was multiple, but yeah, in the main areas for the most part, super safe day and night. I never felt whatever.
Okay.
So
would
city.
Would you recommend Guatemala City to
Absolutely.
Any people
yeah,
thinking about it?
The great thing about Guatemala City, it's still pretty close to the States. It's obviously a little further than Mexico, but it's something different. It's not your typical Costa Rica where everyone goes. It's not your Mexico, but you still get a lot of that culture and that Spanish vibe, and all that going on. And like I said, it's safe, and yeah, I definitely recommend it.
And you flew direct on Frontier there, right?
Well, I do there is a layover, but I could go. I did use the Frontier Pass, yes, and I think it was like $31.
Wow, that's hard to argue with.
That goes back to our first segment as the value that you can get from it. So
that's cool, man.
But and Guatemala City too, it's a lot like Denver. It's pretty close to the same elevation, close to a mile high. It's got mountains surrounding it. Yeah, definitely. It's
same time zone too, right?
Same time zone. It's almost like a little sister city or something. But
that kind of eliminates jet lag, right?
I guess so. Other than jet lag.
Yeah.
But yes, time zone jet lag. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool.
Great spot though. Glad I went. I'd love to go back, and I was only in Guatemala City. There's so much. I'd like to get down to the coasts. I'd like to get. Yeah. There's some cool little cities outside of Guatemala City. Yeah. Little towns and stuff that I'd like. I wish I had a little more. I only had a few days. Yeah, so.
Like lakes and volcanoes.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
Lots of that stuff. I was on limited time, so I just had a couple of days in the city. So definitely need to explore Guatemala, the country, a little bit further.
Well, maybe that's a seed to plant.
Ooh,
for the future.
Something coming up at some point.
Here we go. All right. Last and final segment for episode 1 of the Here We Go Travel Show. Woo! We have Trip Tease.
Trip Tease? Trip Tease. My bad.
Yeah.
I got to really
careful there. Trip Tease.
Trip Tease.
Trip Tease. And yeah, oh my God. I am super excited for this trip. Are you?
What trip?
Well, can you tell them?
Okay.
About kind of where I'm at
So,
right now.
congratulations are in order for Kevin because he got laid off. He lost his job.
Ooh.
All right. Well, at least I said congratulations because that's how I felt.
You were the first person I called.
Oh, I like
Fun
that.
fact.
Not even the wife?
No,
Gotta
no,
cut that out.
definitely
Oh, God.
not.
Woo.
You,
Yeah.
it was you.
All right.
Can you believe that?
I feel loved on that one. But yeah, so I'm sorry that you lost your job. However, it did inspire him a little bit.
Well,
You've got a little time off, you get a little severance,
I'm
little
free.
whatever. He's free. He's free. So he's like, we gotta go somewhere. And knowing me, yeah.
Well, and the thing is that Chad is maybe a little bit too free. Like,
Too free?
We need to get some anchors on this guy. While I need to, snap some ropes. But like, how do we tease this out? It's a trip tease, right? Like, this is big. I can't tell you how big this trip is going to be because A,
where we're going,
and B, the time in the lives that we're going, right? Like, this is why we're calling this a soul quest.
Oh, Soul Quest.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's a total soul quest.
It is a soul quest. I've got a lot to work out with my soul.
You and me
got laid
both.
off,
Me and
so-
you both, right? Like, we're both in this zone to really reorient. Clue. Clue.
Okay.
You can say that these days, okay? Like, come on. It just
I mean,
means
just
east.
look at it.
It just means east.
It's okay
if you
for
look
him.
up orient, it just means east, okay? It's a geographic term.
Don't judge us or him.
Another big clue on this that we should probably include is like the spiritual element of this trip, right? It's a soul quest, and we're going somewhere that's, I would say,
Well, you did say
is
Orient, East. I mean, there's a lot.
well, yeah.
This
And this is sacred. This place is like sacred, right? Like all the research I'm doing, and I'm doing all the research.
Don't listen to him.
Happily.
I do most of it. He just sits by and does nothing.
He's good at things. I swear to God.
Yeah, I can't take it anymore. Where did you decide we're going?
We are going to Japan. Japan. We are going to Japan.
I know. Like,
Holy crap!
when you said you wanted to go on a trip, I thought he'd be like, yeah, let's go to like Mexico or like the
Oh, no.
Caribbean.
Oh, no.
Then all of a sudden he's like, what about Japan? I 100% thought he was kidding. 100%.
Really?
Yes.
No,
I was like, there's
not-
no way he's gonna get time off. He's gonna get the permission from the family.
And I've been stacking hours, like
Okay,
admittedly,
yeah.
like those of you out there who know me, you know I earned this, and I swear to God I'll bring you everything you want
Don't let her
from
see
Japan. She doesn't watch.
Okay.
No, this is coming up on the very immediate horizon.
Couple
I'm
weeks.
Super, super excited. We have so much in store for you, whether it's about the food, the culture,
locations,
being larger-
spiritual meditation.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yes.
get naked. But
Think about it.
together. Oh,
Ooh.
well, you did mention something about baths, or was that a tease as well?
Yeah, no, legit onsen experience. The Japanese hot springs, obviously, big pull on this trip because we don't really. There's some major themes here. We need to reset. We need to relax, right? Chad gets stressed out doing the things that he does.
Whatever it is I do.
Yeah, I get stressed out doing the things that I do. We need a chance to really refocus and to reflect and to do a lot of things to kind of, start out this next chapter in life.
Yeah. Good way to start the new year.
Oh yeah,
And a birthday as well.
that's right. We're leaving the day after my birthday.
Maybe
Pretty
getting
excited
old.
about that.
Oh.
Beat you to it.
You're in your mid 40s. I'm still in my early 40s. So there's a big gap there.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Definitely. Maybe 3 months.
Yeah. But I feel like by the end of this trip, we are going to feel rejuvenated and renewed.
Yeah.
Those are the goals for the trip. So make sure you stick around for all of that great content.
Lots of videos coming up on it, all kinds
so
of
many
stuff.
shorts,
Great food,
full
and shorts,
episodes,
and locations, and
Oh,
everything. So
oh,
there'll be a lot on
oh.
that. Stay tuned for that. We can't wait. The Japan Soul Quest, it's coming, and yeah, that's our striptease. I mean, trip tease.
Striptease comes later.
Yep. Well, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
Have something there.
Just wait.
Yes.
But that kind of wraps up our show today.
Yes.
Our first
Thanks,
ever
everyone.
episode 1.
Here we go, travel show. It's in the books.
Yeah.
Thank you all. We're gonna have a lot more of these.
Let's not forget to thank Mainstream Video Production for really just getting
Look
us
right there.
tidied up and lighted up.
Helping
and
us out.
Hopefully
along
all
the
this
way.
still
Go
works.
check them out. They're awesome.
Oh.
Beth is awesome.
Oh my God.
Tell her that we sent you.
Oh
She'll
yeah.
love it.
We'll get you a discount code in no time.
Yeah.
We just make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let us know, honestly, about our Japan trip, what kind of content you would like me and Chad to come out with, because we will be doing live streams, we'll be throwing up shorts while we're there. Obviously, the bigger episodes will come later, but let us know. Please let us know. We want this to be a community thing.
Let us know about this too, about these episodes.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
What you want here, what you want teased, what you want, any suggestions, everything. So
yeah, if you're planning a trip to Denver, to Colorado, or if you're flying from Denver to anywhere else, let us know. We have a lot of travel experience. We have a lot of ambition to go to other places, and we want to take you along for the ride and make sure that you are traveling better.
Oh yeah. Thanks and. No, here we go.
Oh, sorry.
Shit, leave this. And
here we go.